Hi, I'm Andre, and the video you've all been waiting for, or one of the videos that you all been waiting for, this is just me talking to you directly here. I just want to talk to you about, obviously, the Power Rangers movie. It's about to come out. I have seen it. I'm going to see it again. I was going to do a review, my usual, here's the good, here's the bad, here's the nerdy, all that kind of stuff. But I thought for this movie, it would be nice to just do a video before, a pre-game show, a video before where it's just me talking to you, just letting you know, before even getting to any of that type of stuff. Some of you just want to know how I feel about it in general, like just do I like it? Does Andre like the Power Rangers movie of 2017 and would he recommend it to you? Yeah. I like it. I do. I really, really do. I thought it was a very entertaining movie. There's a lot of things I like about it. There are some flaws, or actually for me there's just one. It's really the only thing that I have bad to say about it, even though it is a big thing. But overall, yeah, I enjoyed this movie. This movie does exactly what I wanted to do. I wanted to create a Power Rangers movie that still has the essence of what Power Rangers is about, still has the stuff we know about the teenage with attitude, about the Zords, the suits, the fights, the camaraderie or the coming together, sometimes a little bit of drama, any of that kind of stuff, all that stuff that we've seen in Power Rangers past. The essence of that is in there, but it's a PG-13 big budget movie version of it. And the reason why I said it is because you're gonna probably see in some reviews, because it is different from the original series, gonna be a lot of people are gonna say it's the dark reboot, it's the gritty reboot. For me personally, I don't think it's dark and gritty, because the movies we got in the past were bigger budget or just extended versions of the television series, even down to using the same cast. But this feels like its own thing. And I like that, because what it showed me is that you could have some of the same elements, but if you need to do something a little bit further, you can. So humor is there. There is some moments in this movie that are straight up Power Rangers silliness, like joke-wise, right there on the cheese like we've seen before. But if they need to make PG-13 versions of it or be a little more risque or a little edgy with some of the humor, they do so. There's stuff in here that's straight up action, but if it needs to be a little bit more intense, it is. So, if people get hurt from all the things that are happening in these fights, it happens. It just allows it to have a little bit less limitation than what you see. And this is coming from someone who watched both the original Mighty Morphin Power Rangers and someone who has watched the recent series like Mega Force and Super Mega Force and Ninja Steel and Dino Charge. I have seen many a times watching those shows that you can feel just that tightness of you can only do so much because you're on Nickelodeon, because you're a kid's show. Whereas this movie, I feel like doesn't have that as much. It does what it needs to do to respect the franchise, and it does what it needs to do to be different. And I think it is different enough. In the same vein as I feel about the comic book, I feel like this is what I wanted. I just wanted different versions of Power Rangers, and I'm glad that this happened. The big thing I like, though, is I think that the cast does a great job in really establishing who these characters are. This movie allows us to learn who these characters are. It gives them some depth, gives them some backstory. Some get a little bit more than others, but at least with each character, you at least get one scene or some scene in this where it's like, this is how this character is. This is why they act the way they do. This is what they've done in the past that's led them to be on the path that they are now. And this is how they try to change or become a team to become Power Rangers. So, that's the essence of what makes Power Rangers, is to see these people come together with different personalities, different backgrounds, different ethnicities. They get together, and together we are more, right? So, so that's all there. This is definitely a good setup to a franchise. That's the only flaw I have. I'll just say this is an origin story, so keep that in mind. So that might mean that, you know what I mean by that. I'll tell more later. I want to keep this as less detailed as possible so you can go in as clear as possible, but just keep that in mind. One, keep in mind is Power Rangers. So, like I'm not saying have low expectations, but don't get crazy with your expectations when it's a Power Ranger movie. And know that it is an origin story. It's Power Rangers Begins. So that might mean that there's some things that I see in this movie that I like that I was like, oh, I wish I could have seen more of that. Or I bet we'll see more of that when we see a sequel, if we get a sequel. If we get a sequel, fingers crossed. But yeah. But overall, man, I enjoyed this movie. The action sequences when you get in those are really, really fun. It's fun. I just enjoyed this movie. It was Power Rangers when it needed to be, fun and silly when it needed to be, but at the same time, when it needed to be a little bit edgier because we live in an edgier society, it did so, and I was just really happy about that. I will give a more in-depth review, even though this feels kind of in-depth in itself, but I just wanted to put that out there first. I'm going to see it again tonight, and then that way I feel like then I can really get like a little bit more detail for you. But I want you to go see it. Please, please, please don't read spoilers online, y'all. Go see this movie and experience it for yourself. And even if you don't really dig it as much as I do, that's totally fine. Like I said, this is my opinion. You're allowed to have your own opinion. We're allowed to think differently about this thing. But I just say go in as much blank slate as you can. I know some of the spoilers of this movie have come out. Some of them have been headlines in stories. When I saw it, I knew none of these things, so it was nice for me to have that experience. I wish everyone could have had that same experience, but you know, the internet. But yeah, I would say try to go in as knowing as little as possible. If you are a Power Ranger fan in the you just like the franchise, you don't get so nitpicky about certain things and just enjoy it for what it is, I think it is enjoyable. And I think for someone who doesn't know who doesn't know what Power Rangers is specifically, I think it's a nice crash course early start of you understanding at least this version of Power Rangers without feeling like you don't need to know the 20-something year history to watch this movie, so that's good. Look, I'm just gonna put it out there. I know some of you are gonna be like, well, Andre, you met the cast and you got to go to the set and all this kind of stuff, so you're probably biased and you're not thinking about this movie the way that. And to you, I just say, here's my tiny violin to play for you, because there's really nothing I can do for you about that. If that's how you feel, if you think that my review is biased or thoughts are biased because I was involved in doing something that pretty much every major press outlet has ever done before with any other movie, this or any other movie you think of, that I just got the opportunity to do because I'm a Power Rangers fan and so someone gave me the opportunity that I'm sure you would have taken if you were in the same position I was in. But if you want to think that way, then here's my tiny violin, because there's nothing I can do about it. I can't go back in time and get rid of all that stuff for you to make you feel better. And also, I don't GAF, and you can fill in the GAF. All right, put my tiny violin away. Power Rangers opens on March 24th, everybody. I hope you go see it. I'll see you tomorrow with a more in-depth review. If I can even get more in-depth than this, please subscribe to my channel. Also ring that bell to be notified of future videos that I make, especially if you love Power Rangers. This is definitely a channel you want to be a part of, for sure. But I also talk about other nerdy stuff as well. I love you like a play cousin. I'm Audi 5000 chain chomp yo.